It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ, a show with a positive message each morning as I talk to different business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders about what they're doing to make a difference in and around our community. So I invite you to tune in each and every morning, take a break from all the political news and sports talk that's on our airwaves each and every morning, and get to know what's going on in the community. Also, as always, I invite you over to my website, tampabayradio.com. Over there, all shows available on demand. Also, you can see all the prior guests that have been on the show via the Guest and Network tab on the homepage, and peruse real estate listings, as my regular business is selling real estate in the Tampa Bay region. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker, and you can see all the area real estate listings. And we cover real estate a lot on this show because that's pretty much what my network is all about. I got a lot of real estate professionals in my network, so they come in and out of here a pretty good bit on this show as well. So on this show, you'll hear a lot about real estate and the inner workings of that business as well. Also, my specialty is bank-owned properties, and on the homepage of tampabayradio.com, you can also see all of my pre-listed properties prior to hitting the market over there as well. Joined in studio by my lovely co-host today, Stella Giudicelli. Stella, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tampa Bay.
And how are you doing this morning? I'm
very, very good. Still working a lot in the craziness of real estate, so not sleeping many hours at the moment, but it's great. I see I'm having some coffee just in front of me. So.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, in the second part of the show, we'll be talking with Valerie Wilson-Reed, owner of Val Cook's Coffee, a good friend of yours. Very excited to speak with her and about her entrepreneurial path on the second part of the show.
Very good.
And did she bring you some of that Val Cook's Coffee today?
Yes. I see that in front of me right now. So
we'll hear all about that on the second.
It will help.
Yeah, we'll hear all about that on the second half of the show. But up first, Joryn Jenkins is a trial attorney with 35 years of courtroom experience. Now in private practice at Open Palm Law in Tampa, Joryn concentrates on the collaborative practice of family law. Joryn, welcome to the show this morning.
Good morning, Jamie.
So first off, tell me just a little bit more about yourself and your practice.
Well, as you mentioned, I've been in practice for 35 years. I've had a variety of experiences. I started in Washington, D.C., and then moved down to Tampa, doing a little shopping for where I wanted to spend the rest of my life. Up till then, I'd spent, I think, 4 years in any given city. So moved to...
I would be curious to know why you've picked Tampa.
Well, it was a kind of funny thing. I went to a funeral here, and the guy who gave the eulogy was E.J. Salsinas, and E.J. offered me a job at the funeral. So I had a couple of other job offers, but the big draw for me was not just the job with E.J., but my great aunt lived in Clearwater, and she and I were very close. Mm-hmm. So I was looking for a city where the sun shines all the time. Yes. And I thought I'd found it for the first 30 years I was here, but recently that's come into question a bit. So, yeah.
So explain what you mean by collaborative law.
Well, collaborative law is a process that stays outside the courtroom. And the one indicia of collaborative, and I do primarily family law, so a lot of divorce work, some paternity work, some prenuptial work. But the process, the primary indicia is the attorneys involved sign an agreement with their clients that they will not go to court. And if the dispute devolves and has to go to court because the parties simply can't resolve it themselves with our help, then we're out. Those lawyers are out. They have to go get trial lawyers. So although I started in trial work and I have apparently a big reputation in town as a hotshot trial attorney, that's what I've been told. I'm just repeating what other people have told me because they're shocked when they find out that I'm doing this collaborative divorce thing.
Why the move into collaborative practice away from the trial attorneys then, or trial practice?
I've done so much divorce work. I've had referrals. People walk into my office, ask for me, and they won't tell me who referred them because they tell me it was the other side in a case that I handled. Mm-hmm. And they say that I just demolished the other side, and they were so impressed with me, not happy, mm-hmm. but impressed that they wanted their friend to hire me. So we destroy families in regular courtroom divorce work. That's what we do for a living. We destroy the other side. Mm-hmm. And it's just not right. Families don't belong in court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're saying you destroy families because it's so intense and so much is put on the table in front of everyone.
You know, when you go to court, just the process alone is stressful. It's very, very stressful because there's so many issues that you have no idea where you're going to live next week, next month, next year. There's a judge out there who doesn't know you or your kids, who doesn't share your values, making decisions about how you're going to spend the rest of your life. Instead of, in any courtless area, that's what I really focus on. Courtless, collaborative, yes, but mediation, anything outside of court, the parties themselves come to some agreement. Now, they may not be happy. I mean, one of the traditional hallmarks of a good mediated agreement is neither side is happy, but they're not destroyed. And they agree to something they think they can live with.
So who came up with that collaborative? It has always been there, or is this a new concept?
You know, it's funny because mediation was invented and it took a long time to catch on, even though today we all think, well, that's kind of normal. But collaboration was invented by a guy in Minnesota who just came up with this idea. It didn't catch on right away. Eventually, word got out. I think it was California first, and it caught on real quick in California, and then it caught on in Texas. T. Boone Pickens got divorced collaboratively, and he was so impressed. He donated $1 million to the Collaborative Law Institute in Texas just to get them going. So they have a very strong collaborative community in Texas. And it's recently, in the last 10 years, really started catching on in Florida.
You know, I was joking with you coming into the studio this morning that your business is probably going to go through the roof with the recent the announcement yesterday of the release of records on AshleyMadison.com. It's something you weren't even familiar with, surprisingly.
No, it's interesting because, you know, we do have people who come in and they want a divorce because their husband is a porn addict, or, you know, and I'm using these terms that the clients use. Usually when they're angry and they come in, they say all kinds of things that may not be really accurate. The worst part is, of course, when they say it in court pleadings that the public can take a look at anytime the public wants, which is another positive thing about mediation, collaboration. It's confidential.
So what do you do to kind of, I guess, decompress, so to speak, from the contentiousness of a divorce? I mean, you're just in between these two people going at it. I mean, how do you decompress from this line of work?
This is interesting. You know, it's interesting you asked the question that way. I was in a mediation yesterday, and I was not one of the originally hired lawyers. One of the spouses brought me in as a collaborative lawyer. She had decided that she really wanted to try and go the collaborative route, even though she had started in court. Backing out of court is kind of difficult. We do it. I'm having trouble convincing both of the attorneys to go collaborative. They'll make more money, of course, if it stays in court. You make less money when you collaborate. But I sat in this mediation, and I was kind of neutral. I was a different voice. You could see I was representing the wife. You could see the husband sitting across the table from me, looking at me and going, "Why are you on my side? I don't understand why you're explaining my position to your client and making her listen to me." I mean, he was clearly impressed.
It gives me chills that, you know, in such a situation, you can get people.
It was stressful for me. It was stressful for me. But these two people are trying to work out. They have a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they love
their having their life is huge.
Yeah.
Now, you've authored 2 books for War or Peace, and also the book I Never Saw My Father Again. Why the book title I Never Saw My Father Again? Where did that name come from?
Interesting. When I was 7, my parents were divorced, and my mother loaded us kids into the van and moved us 3,000 miles away, and I never saw my father again. I'm 58 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I never saw my father again.
Do you know anything about him or anything to this day?
No.
Or nothing?
No. I heard recently from one of my sisters that he died. I'm not sure how she found out, although I suspect my mother's Social Security jumped up. I think that's probably how we.
So in that book, do you discuss family law, child's
Yeah,
thing?
both of the books are a series of short stories. So War or Peace was the first book. I tell the stories about going to war, and I tell what happens when you elect the peaceful alternative, the collaborative alternative. There have just been, as you say, you know, the hair on your arm stands up when you hear some of these stories about the peace that people can have with each other. People share secrets that they've kept for years from each other, and it's poisoned their relationship. And all of a sudden they're sharing these stories. And I help, if one person tells the secret, I help the other person. And I'm just a lawyer, but I help the other person understand why it was a secret and why that spouse who shared it felt comfortable enough in the safety of our collaboration to finally share it. No. People come out of these divorces better friends than they were. Certainly better friends than if they'd gone to war, but better. They're better able to problem solve. They're better able to communicate. We help them learn new skills.
Do you see people come back together?
It happens occasionally. Usually it's too far gone. And I know it sounds like, well, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. But let me tell you this. 50% of first marriages end in divorce. 67% of second marriages end in divorce. 74% of third marriages end in divorce. I'm fairly sure that's because when you go to court, you don't learn anything except how to go to court. When you collaborate, you learn to problem solve, you learn to communicate better. So I'm convinced that if you get divorced collaboratively the first time, you're probably not going to get divorced another time.
In your experience, what is the number one cause of the divorces? What is the one thing that seems to be driving the divorces?
Failure to communicate.
Just communication.
Yep, absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah.
And that infects the ability to problem solve and then to co-parent going on. And yeah, it infects everything.
Do you find that one person or another just gets hung up on one problem within the relationship and they just can't get off of that one problem also?
No. One problem leads to another.
One leads to another and to another and to another.
And the people at the heart of it don't even realize what started it.
Yeah. Well, great discussion. I got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, I want to hear some stories from your book, War or Peace, and some other things about this family law business, divorce business. Just a great discussion I'm having currently with Joryn Jenkins, owner of Open Palm Law. And you can reach out to her at her website, openpalmlaw.com, or 813-870-3839. Again, 813-870-3839. You're currently listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WINS WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305. 0305.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Northbound I-75 is slow through the Brandon area anywhere from before the Selman Crosstown through State Road 60. Selman Crosstown slow from 75 to around 78th Street due to an earlier crash. Northbound I-275 and Manatee County approaching US 19 in that toll plaza area. Some slow traffic through there due to a crash. And in Hillsborough County, also slow off the Howard Franklin Bridge into the West Shore District. Typical delays there. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Today, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 79. Tomorrow, a 50-50 rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the program, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find this show on here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. and learn more about the show at tampabayradio.com.
So I have a question for you. During the break, we were saying someone came to you and say, well, I'm surprised that money is not the first cause of divorce. And you said money is a lack of communication. Yeah. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, because it's absolutely true that money is probably the primary problem, but it's always lack of communication about money that drives the...
So people have frustrations around money in the relationship and don't communicate about them.
Don't communicate. They can't agree. They can't figure out how to agree on how... I'd say most divorces end up being divorces because the parties have different relationships with money, different attitudes about how to spend it, how not to spend it, how to save it, all of that.
Do you find most couples work collaboratively on the money, or is it like one person's in charge of the finances and the other really doesn't know what's going on? What do you see in your side?
It's funny because, I bring my own heart into my practice, and that's one reason why I love collaborative divorce. But because I see so much magic happening. But in most marriages, including my own, the biggest problem is money. So my husband and I never fight about anything except money. Mm-hmm. God, I hope he's not listening to this. And that's true, I think. And so what happens is, because you don't want to fight, one party will back off and say, okay, you take care of the money. Mm-hmm. And the other party will be happy to do that. My husband and I have gone back and forth. We went 5 years, he took care of it, then 5 years I took care of it, and it was the way things happened. Mm-hmm. I said, let me take care of it for a while. And he goes, fine. Mm-hmm. So now, does that happen in most marriages? I don't think so. Traditionally, the male took care of the money and the female took care of the home. That's not happening nearly as much, but we still see women coming to get divorced and they have no idea how to write a check. Yeah. Those are older women now. Not so much young ones.
So the way you're talking, I can actually visually see you. And when you talk about what you do have a lot of passion, and you just talk about how much you have heart in your practice, and you talked about magic. So my question to you is, how much collaborative divorce has improved your life?
Oh, my gosh. The thing is, when I started practicing, my goal was to make new law every year. So I was in the courtroom, and I was making new law. I made new law nationally on a number of occasions. I've gotten an award given only in the Supreme Court of the United States once a year to one person. But all of that just kind of fell away when I saw what I could do in a collaborative conference room. It just kind of melted away when you see the difference you can make in a person's life, in their family, and in their children. For their children's future, the magic is amazing. And that's some of the stories that I tell in my books.
Yeah, and your one book, War or Peace, is a collection of stories, right? What was the inspiration for this book, and where is it available?
Well, anybody who goes to court dreams about writing about those stories, because anytime you go to court, it's exciting for you. Mm-hmm. It may not be exciting for the rest of the world, but it's exciting for you. And we all keep notes, I'd say, about those interesting cases that we had, those interesting clients that we had. I had a guy who married woman A, then divorced her, married woman B, mm-hmm. then divorced her, then married woman A.
Went back to woman A.
Then divorced her and married woman B. And there's a long story behind that. But I mean, imagine that's a story you think you'd want to tell. So I kept notes as the years went by. I've been in practice 35 years. And then one day I had a collaboration and the magic happened. My arms got all tingly. My breath caught in my throat. I felt like the Grinch, where my heart just swelled 10 times. And I thought, oh, that's a story that I've got to tell. Mm-hmm. And I sat down and I wrote the story. Then I realized that what I ought to do is try to convince people that collaboration is best. We got to get the word out. That's the problem. Nobody knows. Movie stars use it. They know better. Mm-hmm. Wealthy people use it. Mm-hmm. They know better. Lawyers use it. They know better. But the average Joe doesn't know about collaborative divorce, doesn't know that's an option. So I'm trying to get the word out. Wrote a book about how collaboration works, the logistics. Mm-hmm. And then write stories, too, about courtroom versus collaboration. Here's what happens when you go to court. Here's what happens when you collaborate.
So is it safe to say your book, War or Peace, is not just for people that are affected by divorce? This is a book for pretty much all listeners can gain something from, correct?
Well, there's no question. People have told me it's like chicken soup for the soul stories because it's fun to read.
I love the title, War or Peace.
Yeah.
War or Peace.
Yeah.
War or Peace.
Yeah. What is it? War or Peace?
It's
war,
war,
okay,
or
peace.
Yeah,
the word or between
because it's a choice, and that's the most important thing to take away from it. It's a choice.
Okay. Well, what I'm hearing in that, so I'm very big about peace in the world, and is it Mother Teresa who said peace in the world starts at home?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so basically by creating peace around you through to mediation, I think there is an impact, a ripple impact effects in the world. If people can stay peaceful between themselves through a divorce,
there's
then
no question.
they choose that path on how they think about things.
Well, and think about this. You get divorced in court, it impacts your whole community. You may not think so, but it does. You send subpoenas out to the neighbors. I want someone to testify. I had a guy come see me for advice. He'd gotten a subpoena to testify in a divorce case, and he didn't know who had subpoenaed him. He wanted to know because he didn't know if he's going to end up living next to the wife or the husband. It impacts everybody. It impacts your friends. Your friends have to choose who they're going to stay friends with. Right. It impacts your in-laws. You love your in-laws, but you want to divorce the husband. Can you stay friends with the in-laws? If you collaborate, absolutely.
Now, where is your book available for the listeners? And again, this is a book for pretty much anybody can get something from. This is not just people that are going through a divorce, but where is this available?
Both books are available on my website at openpalmlaw.com. There's a books category, and you can look there. They're both available on Amazon.com. The first one is already an ebook, so it's available on iTunes, and I'm not big into ebooks, but the Barnes & Noble site, whatever. The second book will be available as an ebook within the next couple of weeks.
Is collaborative law, we've been talking a lot about that term throughout this discussion, is it limited only to divorces, or can other areas of law
Thank you for asking that. That's a fabulous question. It's used primarily today in divorce work, but let me tell you something. Any partnership or relationship breakup, so an employee is unhappy with his employer, a partner is unhappy with his partner, a small business is falling apart. Any of those relationship breakups can be resolved collaboratively. But I'll tell you what, some of the bankruptcy judges are very interested in what we're doing because it's very applicable to in the bankruptcy context where there are disputes in bankruptcy. Any dispute can be resolved collaboratively.
Yeah. Well, something that people out there in the community need to be asking their attorneys about then. So be sure to ask that question out there. Do you practice collaborative law? Learned here on That Business Show from Joryn Jenkins. Joryn, got to wrap it up. Bottom of the hour coming up, but a great interview. I appreciate you stopping in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And again, that was Joryn Jenkins, owner of Open Palm Law. You can learn more about her and her business at openpalmlaw.com. And you can visit her, or you can send her a message, Joryn, at openpalmlaw.com if you can use any of her services. And again, 813-860 870-3839, 813-870-3839. Stay tuned. Coming back from break, we'll be talking with Valerie Reed, founder of Val Cook's Copy, on That Business Show.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area. From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Northbound 275 is very slow in Manatee County from around US 41 approaching the US 19 entrance ramp area due to a crash. Also westbound Selman Crosstown very slow from 75 to around 78th Street. Southbound 275 and westbound I-4 still slow through downtown Tampa as well. See traffic problems? Call the Injury Firm of Abraham, Son and Urick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Poverty doesn't discriminate. It feeds on the forgotten. At Unbound, they believe in the collective wisdom of society's oldest and most vulnerable members. Providing sponsorship for the elderly is just one way Unbound is different. Learn more at unbound.org.
Winds Weather Center forecast. The high today reaching the lower 90s, starting off with sunshine, then a bit of cloud cover picks up early afternoon, and the showers and storms roll in mid-late day. The rain chance once again around 50%, kind of typical pattern we've seen the past couple of days. And low tonight around 80. Impact Radio, 1250 Winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Winds, WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find this show on here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. It's a business variety show, a little something different each morning as we hear from different business owners, entrepreneurs, political and community leaders about what they're doing to make a difference in and around the Tampa Bay and surrounding communities. As always, I invite you to my website, tampabayradio.com. Over there, all shows available on demand, and also you can get a plethora of information from the guest networks tab on the homepage. We've had over 250 plus guests on the show since its inception on February 2nd. So any product or service that you may be looking for in the Tampa Bay region, consider Tampa Bay Radio as an excellent resource for that. And on the site, you can see all the guests that have been on here, a short bio about what it is that they're doing. And if you click on their show cards on the page, you can see their interviews as well. We do stream all the shows here live in studio. So by clicking on those cards, you can be taken right to the interviews and hear from them personally here on That Business Show. Also, please connect with me on all the different social media sites to keep up to date with all the show happenings. Facebook.com/That Business Show. Also Twitter under Jamie_Maloney. If you're just checking in that last segment, we were talking with Joryn Jenkins. She is with Open Palm Law. You can learn more about her and pick up her books at openpalmlaw.com. Just a great great interview where she was talking about the practice of collaborative law, and just a great segment right there. If you missed any of that, I invite you to check out the replay again over at TampaBayRadio.com. Time to bring in my second guest for the show. Val Cooks was founded by Valerie Wilson Reed in 2008 from her love of cooking, dining, and entertaining. Val Cooks originally developed a line of designer hostess aprons, and within a year was featured on HSN and nationally syndicated NBC television's First Look. Currently, she is a restaurant blogger, television product spokesperson, cookbook author of the soon-to-be-released book, and contributing author to These Sisters Can Cook cookbook. Valerie, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, Stella, you made the introduction to Valerie for me. Tell me a little bit more about her and what she's got in studio with us today.
Right. Well, she's going to talk about what she has in the studio, I guess. I'm going to let her do that. But two things. First of all, after the show, I am going to meet a good friend of ours, Tony Michaelides. Mm-hmm. He was here in the studio. He's the person, the publicist who brought
Tony Michaelides, yes. Uh-huh.
The French accent. He brought U2, the band, the music band. He brought U2 to the world, and then he was the publicist of Bob Marley, Depeche Mode, David Bowie, The Police, etc. So as we're talking about, meeting up, it's of course like we tried 3 times already to meet up, and then I had to cancel. But we always talk about meeting around a coffee. And so coffee has such a social impact in our life. If we didn't have coffee, like, why would we meet around?
Yeah,
exactly.
So do you want to elaborate
Valerie,
on that?
tell us about this coffee.
Well, basically, I mean, we were having coffee when we first met.
That's true, right? Actually, yes.
And so basically, I have enjoyed coffee all of my life. Just from sitting on my grandfather's knee when he would have his café con leche here in Tampa. And I've always loved having coffee. So, and I'm also an entrepreneur at heart. So when I had the opportunity, I was thinking about it. I said, I'm spending all my money at these coffee places, and I love coffee. It's a passion of mine. Why not just start your own line? Mm-hmm. And so I went and developed and looked for roasters and found a wonderful roaster who was able to do it private label for me.
Now, where is this product found right now, Val Cooks Coffee?
Well, I'm out of Chicago, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Val Cooks LLC is out of Chicago, Illinois. But I'm also a native of Tampa. Mm-hmm. And so actually I'm a 4th generation, I guess you could probably say.
All right.
So my grandfather, and all were entrepreneurs at that. My grandfather moved here from my great-grandfather moved here from New Orleans and started a cigar factory in Ybor City.
Oh, wow.
But he died very young. My grandfather, Gooseby Jones, had Jones Corner Sundries on Main Street in West Tampa.
What was this business?
It was a sundries. It was kind of like where you go and have ice cream, coffee, and pick up all of different little toiletries and things like that. But it was kind of like a social meeting place, but yet it's kind of like the old-fashioned 7-Eleven.
Okay.
Right. But and so my mother, she's a realtor here, as we are in the midst of realtors.
Right.
She's been a realtor here for 53 years. You've met her having coffee,
yes.
And it seems like my whole life is surrounded by coffee. So as I decided to just go ahead and add my own label.
What's different about your coffee, or is it just the branding and the marketing that you do behind it? But what's different about Val Cooks?
Well, the difference with the coffee that I have 3 different ones right now. One is Guatemala Gooseby, and I'll get into the name of that one a little bit later. And then there's Decadent Decaf and Java Gem. But this is for really true coffee lovers. This is not this is to be sipped and savored. It's a kind of a boutique coffee. There's a lot of coffees you can just go and you can just get them out of the grocery store, etc. But you don't really know when it was roasted. Mm-hmm. Okay, it could have been roasted, a year ago. And so what my thing is to make it the freshest possible. And so what I do, I only offer it at limited times. And so that way, once I get all of the orders, I put my order in plus extra. And because I always have people who order after the deadline. Mm-hmm. But the main thing is that it is roasted on one particular day. I pick it up personally the next day, and I ship it out that very same day. So basically, you're getting the freshest coffee that you can possibly get.
It can't be more fresh than that.
You can't get it fresher than that.
Okay, so this is not store-bought, coffee, restaurant type of
No,
coffee. This
it is
is
not.
made to order, or I guess.
It's to my specifications. It's roasted to my specifications. It comes from Guatemala. Some of it comes from South America. But the best part about it is the flavor. Very deep, rich flavor with no bite.
So how was the process to find the right
roaster?
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting because first of all, it started off with a lot of phone calls and a lot of online. But I wanted to have a personal relationship with the roaster that I was going to be working with because that, to me, was going to be very important. And so I started making phone calls. Then I started actually physically going to these roasters myself. And so a couple of them, they would look at me and they would say, why do you want, and you are, and, like, why do you want to do this? And so after about the fourth one, I just left them my card and I would leave. And so I went to the fifth one and I walked and I said, you know what, I'm tired. I'm just going to get a cup of coffee. I'm going to see what their coffee is like. And I was amazed. And I just said, you don't happen to do private label, do you? And they go, oh my gosh, yes, we do private label. Are you interested in private label? And I said, yes. They said, well, the lady's here right now. She came downstairs. We made an appointment for the next day. The next day I came in, she had a line of coffees, all of these coffees for me to try. And so we basically tried each and every one. First, I tried them all black. It was about 20 coffees because I was trying to get just the right flavor, the right notes to it. And then we narrowed it down to 5, and then we narrowed it down to the top 3.
So how can listeners order this coffee?
They can order it online at valcooks.com or valcookscoffee.com.
Now, you mentioned that it's only available at certain times throughout the year, right?
Yes.
What are the times that it's available?
Okay, the next time, well, there's some 2 of them I'm going to start carrying on a regular basis, and that's going to be the Decadent Decaf and the Java Gem. And then I will include in there a seasonal coffee. Okay, and so right now my seasonal coffee is the Guatemala Gooseby. Okay, and then the next offering will be probably in September, and then I'll have another one for November for the holidays, so we can have the holiday coffee because that's a big coffee time.
So do you send emails to your database saying
yes, I see
time to order?
It's time to order, but actually it's mostly on Facebook. I mean, the first 2 orders sold out completely just by using Facebook, Twitter, all of the social media. And so that way it's just been wonderful.
Where does the name come from? So Val, I would think Valerie. So
well,
Val Cooks.
That part is right. The Val is from Val Cooks. It comes from Valerie. But I love to cook and I love to entertain. And that's how I originally started my first business, which was Val Cooks LLC, which was a designer hostess business, which you spoke about earlier.
You said, is that the apron?
It was designer hostess apron line.
Okay, yeah,
yes,
I've seen that.
It wasn't your mother's apron. It was definitely very fashionable. It was absolutely gorgeous,
right?
And it just kind of happened when I was doing a Valentine party, and I wanted something very special to wear, and I had about 25 guests come over. And as soon as I opened the door in the apron, and I had a friend, I don't sew, by the way, and I had a friend of mine sew it, but I designed it. And it was, everyone wanted one. So I'm like, oh my goodness, well, I think I'm going to go ahead and make this into a business. And little did I know, a year later, I would be on HSN.
I was going to say, how did you get the apron that was on HSN?
Yes.
How did you get in with HSN? And for all the business entrepreneurs out there, getting their product on HSN would be a huge benefit. So how did you get on HSN with the product?
Well, a lot of it is perseverance and luck, but mainly I was associated with, I became in the incubator program for Apparel Industry Board in Chicago. And I was one of their top 12 designers for that particular year in 2009. And what they do is they feature you at the Merchandise Mart. So people come around. And there was a very wonderful lady who came down who was dealt with catalogs. And she said, your product would be outstanding on the Home Shopping Network. And so she gave me her card, exchanged cards, etc. And she finally did. She did get back with me. and hooked me up with a wonderful person in New York City who did the merchandise, the actual manufacturing of it. And so I went to fly out to meet them. And so they said, we'll get back with you. We're going to send this off, etc. And I think I do a pretty good job of marketing. And so I did that, and they sent it to them. Next thing I know, she's like, they want your product. And so they were very helpful in getting me onto They already had the connection with HSN.
Wow, that's a great story right there, and definitely inspiration for all the other people out there that have developed a product right there. So HSN, just in our backyard right here, if you can get your product on HSN, it definitely would help your business. Tell me how that helped your business.
Oh, it helped my business tremendously. The main thing that I can offer to any entrepreneur who's looking to do that is perseverance and follow every single lead. Mm-hmm. Every single lead, no matter how small you think that it might be. But it was a great experience.
What is going back to the coffee then, what is your long-term plans for the product? Do you plan to put this in stores? Do you plan to talk with, the national chains? But, what's your long-term outlook for this?
Well, right now I'm looking at all avenues. As I said, I always keep all of my options open. But eventually I think I would like to have my own little coffee shop when I retire back here to Tampa next year. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So actually, Valerie and I met at Pecan, the French restaurant.
Yes.
And we happened to sit next to each other. I was working.
Yes.
You're always working.
Right. And then you were
dining.
And I think it was the first time you wanted to check out the restaurant. So and I think I remember what happened. So here I am on my Happy video. And I think they had YouTube had, so I made a video with the song Happy, with Pharrell Williams, from Pharrell Williams. And YouTube just had removed the video from their website. So I'm on there trying to understand what's happening. And Valerie is sitting next to me. And that's how we started talking. And I think the next time we met, we said, let's go and have a coffee here.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and since then, we became very, very good friends. So
exactly. And that kind of also ties into what else I do. I do the restaurant blogs.
Yeah. So, and hold that point. Let's talk about that coming back from the break. Yeah, you are a restaurant blogger, among other things, so we'll talk about that coming back from the break.
Okay.
Currently talk with Valerie Wilson-Reed, founder of Val Cooks Coffee, and learn more about her and her product at valcookscoffee.com. You're currently listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
Help promote the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 Wins WHNZ to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where he promotes what is right with our community and highlights the successes of our entrepreneurs. Show contributor openings also available. You can learn more about the show and how to become part of this growing network at TampaBayRadio.com. Tune in weekdays at 8 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage wants you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Maloney of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Good morning. Big delays now in Manatee County along northbound 275, anywhere between I-75 and US 19. That's due to a crash there blocking a couple lanes. If you come up from Bradenton on US 19 to get to the Skyway, you should be okay. But again, big delays on northbound 275 from 41 to 19. Over in Tampa, we still have delays on the Selman Crosstown westbound direction and southbound 275 through downtown Tampa.
This report is brought to you by Boys and Girls Club of America.
It's 3 p.m. School's out for America's kids. And when school's out, clubs are in. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Visit greatfutures.org.
Today, a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 79. Tomorrow, a 50-50 rain chance, high 91.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, and learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talking with Valerie Wilson-Reed, founder of Val Cook's Coffee, and you can learn more about her and pick up her coffee at ValCooksCoffee.com. Valerie, you're also a restaurant blogger. What are you blogging about these days?
Yes, also in addition to cooking, I also love going out to eat, and I'll never be thin. But I enjoy going to restaurants and then blogging about my experience there. So I have blogged from New York to Chicago, where I live, Tampa. I've done quite a few. Just returned from Burlington, Vermont, where they had some wonderful restaurants. So just about anywhere that I travel, I always make sure that I go and do some restaurant blogging.
And I have to say, it makes it very interesting as a friend to go and dine with you, because then you have this blogging happening and you can participate and you
take
turn
pictures.
your plate around, make it pretty, and you talk about it. And so it's actually fun. It's entertaining
Right.
as
And if you want to find any of the blogs, you can find them at valcooks.blogspot.com.
How many restaurants have you reviewed in and around the Tampa Bay region so far?
Oh, Tampa Bay, probably about 10, 12, maybe.
Still making your rounds?
Still making my rounds, going to make my rounds again. Some I find that are favorites that I always like to go back to, but I try to get to a new one every time I come to town.
That's good, because I see that as being a catalyst for getting to different restaurants. I'm a creature of habit. I kind of go to the same place every day, but if you're blogging, so you got to go to a different restaurant.
Exactly, and I kind of do the same thing. I get stuck in going to the same places, but I force myself to at least try one at a time. New one at a time.
What would you say is your favorite restaurant?
Oh my! I think I can't say if I have a favorite, but there's two. Can I mention the two that
Sure.
I
Yeah,
do?
go ahead.
I definitely love Rue over on South MacDill because my New Orleans heritage, my Creole heritage.
So it's French Cajun.
French Cajun Creole.
Mm-hmm.
So I do love Rue, and then I also there's Edison. That's new.
Love Edison.
I love Edison because they changed their menu, and that's the whole point. Because sometimes you want to go back to the same place, but you don't necessarily want the same menu.
Right.
And that they seem to have really found a way of changing their menu seasonally.
Right. And it's natural food.
And it's natural foods and no preservatives or hormones or any of that kind of thing. And I think they do local. It's mostly local growers.
Correct. The chef used to be a chef at Burns, I believe.
Ah,
yeah.
okay. And the dessert room is also another one of my favorites. I haven't blogged about that, but I do plan on doing that over the holidays.
And on a side note, Edison is located on Kennedy and Edison.
Edison, yes.
I also see contributing author to These Sisters Can Cook cookbook as well. So tell me, what is it that you like to cook so much?
Oh, for me, it's a heartwarming experience. I love preparing meals for friends and family, people that I love. I find that the more love you put into cooking, the better it tastes. But I must say my paella was like my number one that I'm known for. So anytime I have a party, and shrimp beignets, it's an original creation where I do shrimp beignets, and it's very good.
When we met, one of the products that you told me that you're working on too, I think it's called Drip Drop.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Do you want to tell us more about
I'm a brand ambassador for Drip Drop, oral rehydration therapy. And basically, it was founded by a doctor who also went to my university. I'm a graduate of Marquette University, and he's also an alum. And I met him at an alumni function in San Francisco, and I fell in love with the product. And he's done so much, and basically oral rehydration therapy, just think of it as 32% better than drinking water. It's almost kind of like a IV just by drinking it, but it tastes so very, very good.
And it saves lives.
It saves lives. He is constantly going wherever there's a disaster, whether it be Haiti, India, whatever, bringing the Drip Drop, because all you have to do is just pour it into a bottle of water and shake it. And he saves so many babies' lives with it, just with a few drops from a dropper into their mouths. So not only is it a great product that for sports users or runners, anyone who feels like they might get dehydrated, especially in the summertime, especially in Florida.
Right.
But he also has he has it available in Walgreens and CVS's.
How did you get associated? How did you get a relationship with that product?
Well, I met him at a Marquette University function in San Francisco. I used to be president of the National Alumni Association for Marquette, and so I traveled all over the country, and he was one of the wonderful people that I met when I was there. And again, I just fell in love with the product, and he asked if I would be a brand ambassador for him. He also wanted me to work for him, but I said no.
I have too many ideas.
I have too many things and too many ideas that I'm doing right now. But I really wanted to help him because he's helping people, and it's a great product.
Yeah. And I believe he does go around the world and save babies who are dehydrated and adults who would die otherwise, and he goes under like with his own funds, or how does that go?
He goes with his what now?
His own money on his own funds.
Yes, it's his own funds. Yes.
So he has a big heart.
He has a very big heart. Dr. Eduardo Dolhun. Dolhun, I think it is.
It'd be great to have him on the show, Jamie.
I'll see about it.
Make the introduction for us, Valerie.
Yeah.
Real quick, got a minute left. You got an upcoming book too, right?
Yes, Tell me about this. I'm working on a cookbook. I keep telling everyone I'm coming out with it this year. I'm trying to have it done before the Christmas holidays. So not only will you be able to get my coffee, but you'll also be able to get a cookbook as well. And then I also, on my website, on the valcookscoffee.com, I also have accessories. I'm wearing a watch right now that says Val Cooks on it.
I love her.
And along with coffee cups and mugs and travel mugs.
Hey, never miss some chance to make a little extra money, of course.
Well, yes. I mean, and it's always time for coffee.
And it's creation, it's creating the world. That's awesome, Valerie.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, great discussion, Valerie. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. And thank you also to Stella for being the co-host in studio today. Stella, thank you very much as well for the introduction.
Always a pleasure
Valerie.
to be with everyone.
Absolutely. And again, that was Valerie Wilson-Reed. Learn more about her at valcookscoffee.com. Again, valcookscoffee.com. And you can send her an email, info@valcookscoffee.com, to learn more about her and also to pick up the coffee product. Looks very appetizing, and we're going to be trying that out here in just a little bit. You've currently been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.